Greetings, everybody. I just want to come on and share a quick word about Let's Straighten It Out. It's an old song by Lattimore. Sound like he had a problem with his old lady. So he was like, instead of us walking around here acting like we mad at each other over some little small, frivolous, minute thing, let's straighten it out. Then he goes on to say, how in the world do you expect me to understand when I don't even know what's wrong? And I was reading something on Facebook where it says, a lot of friendships would have been mended if they would have just sat down and put their pride aside and talked things out. Because a lot of things are basically misunderstanding, and so it's like just a simple basic alignment that has to be aligned in our lives and in our relationships that we deemed as to never mend again. And so when you straighten things out, it actually shows who's the bigger person. So I had put something on Facebook, and it says something like, you got to be careful on how you handle that. You got to be careful not to wrong those who have wronged you. So it's like you don't have to do to others as they've done unto you, because that's contradictory to the Bible. First of all, it says, do unto others you will have them do unto you. And so you don't want nobody assuming things or lying on you that's not true. And so that's why it's so important for us to straighten these things out. Because it's like when you straighten things out, you become an adult in your mind. And the Bible says, in your thinking, be adults. But when it comes to wrong, be infants. And so it's like, what I'm saying, you got to grow to become of a certain age to recognize that something's wrong before you can even have the mindset to straighten it out. And a lot of things, the Bible says, God will make the crooked path straight. And so that's a godly mindset when you recognize that you want to straighten things out and not walk around, especially couples, if you're married or whatever, walking around not speaking to each other. That's not cool. And even if you in church, no matter where you go, you're going to run into some donkeys on your job, at church, in your family, no matter where you go. And so it's not cool to just walk around and not speak to people. But if there's some donkeys you just going to have to come from amongst, and there ain't no straightening out, because the Bible says those who refuse correction lead others astray. So you got some people that just automatically in their mind think that they're right, regardless of how wrong they are, because they've never been taught what's wrong or what's right. So anything in their life can't be straightening out because they know it all. And so the Bible says, those who claim to know anything don't know what they ought to know. And if you look at know-it-alls, when it comes to the truth and straightening things out, they would rather not pursue the truth. It's because in their mind they're right, even though somebody can sit down and walk them through the process of them being wrong, and they'll still tell you that they're right. And so when straightening out, you got to have wisdom to know who you can straighten things out and who you can't with, and who you cannot. And so that's why it's so important for us the Bible says, get wisdom, though it costs everything you have. And it says, in all you're getting, get an understanding. So therefore, once you start understanding what needs to be straightened out before you go to try to straighten things out, sometimes things can already automatically be straightened out just for the simple fact of you getting understanding. That you wasn't, even when sometimes when you get an understanding that you wasn't even wrong, sometimes you got to be the bigger person and not and put that pride aside. And so it's like, that's what you call the bigger person. Because when you being a bigger person, you just like, look, I'm grown, I ain't got no time for this. Look, hey, I'm sorry, for wronging you or making you feel a certain type of way or however you feel. So can we get over that and move past that and move on with our lives, whether we come back together in fellowship or not? And so I just want to come on and share that real quick. If you have a little simple issue with anybody, straighten it out. If you have a big issue with somebody, straighten it out. Whether you can or can't, straighten it out. Peace.